Hi, my name is Gracie Morrow with Mortgage and Beyond. Here I have Kimberly Woodard with Ebby Halliday. Today we're going to give you 4 tips for what not to do when you're ready to purchase a home in 2025.
So number 1, get pre-approved first. So don't come see me and we have not figured out the pre-approval. I always say you don't go shopping without knowing what you have to spend.
It's an emotional drain too. You know, what we don't want you to do is you fall in love with a house and you have no idea what that monthly payment number would be. And then it can potentially discourage you and set you back for months, right?
Oh yeah.
So looking at your financial numbers and really have a heart-to-heart conversation with yourself, with your spouse, and buying a home is not just buying a home, it's a lifestyle that you have to get ready to either commit to or continue to improve for.
Sometimes when people are getting pre-approved, they find things that could be on their credit. This is an opportunity that we can get it cleaned up before you find the house of your dreams.
Pre-approval is not scary. We're not looking into all the skeletons in your closet. What we do now is we actually do a soft pull, so it doesn't even hurt your credit score. So I think that's the number one thing. People say, oh, I don't want my credit score to be dinged. We're not even doing that anymore. Yeah. The number 2 tip is don't wait till you have 20% down payment to start looking and to purchase a home in 2025. The 20% is like the number 1 myth that everyone in the US has been talking about for years. Especially if you currently own a house, and even though you have very little savings in your checking and savings account, and you have 401k, but you probably don't want to touch it, right? Because that's another thing is people don't want to touch their 401k because they feel like they are pre-spending their retirement money, and that's not very responsible. So there's a lot of different ways that you can tap into what I call leverage. Leverage what you have without touching your future retirement, without touching your savings.
Also, if you are one of those people that you really want to buy your new home before you feel like you're homeless, I always get that, I don't want to be homeless and sell my current house. And then maybe you are looking, you qualify for both, and you can do a non-contingency and put that 3% down initially on that house, and then when you sell, recast. And I think people don't think about that recasting.
Recast is like a very technical term now. We'll be happy to do another video. So if you guys drop your comments below. If you are in a situation you're looking to purchase another home, you're currently in a home, and we have a lot of different options. Recast, bridge to home, home to home, bridge loan, the list goes on and on.
Well, and I love that there's all these options, because then it puts you, if you're buying a home, puts you in a better position versus trying to do a contingency.
And would you say that when you're working with sellers, most sellers, there's sellers that they just feel very comfortable, continue to stay in their home and wait for the perfect buyer, wait for the highest purchase price, but that really doesn't happen too often. I would say less than 5% of sellers, But majority of sellers, they will always pick a guaranteed offer. That could be a lower price. What contingency presents is risk. It's possibility of delaying the closing. It's possibility of delaying the seller gets their proceeds and move on to the next stage of their life. And nobody want to get stuck in a situation when they have no control. So that's what the whole thing about contingency, So it goes back to how do you present your offer if you're looking to purchase in 2025? How do you present your offer with hopefully zero risk to the seller or the lowest risk possible?
Because that seller is looking for the offer that's going to bring them to the finish line.
Absolutely.
So number 3 is don't get too emotionally invested. I know this is so hard. You go into that house, so you drive up and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the perfect house. You just love it, love. You see it's beautifully decorated. So you may see all that stuff, but not notice that there's uneven floors, or there's broken windows, or there's a crack here. Your experienced real estate agent is going to point out those things.
I literally have buyers that fall in love with a house and they will drive by that house every day to sit outside and think about how they can stage and how they can decorate a house. the emotional side not only coming from the buyer, I would say the buyer's agent is also a big part. Work with someone that's professional, work with someone that's very level-headed, because you're gonna be in an emotional situation regardless. Buying a home is emotional. Like you fall in love with a house and there's a need that you're looking to fulfill.
Right.
So it's always good to have that guardian just to pull you on the side and said, I understand this is really important to you, but let's actually take a step back and talk about what is the best way to execute our strategy, what's the best way to negotiate. Because if you're so involved in that buying stage, you're very emotional, I bet you'll be very emotional after the closing.
Correct. And the other thing is that buying a home is most people's largest financial commitment. And so you really need to be focused on it, have that real estate agent guide you through the process to assist you with having that more transparent and not get too emotional. And then once you close, you can be emotional, you can be celebrating.
Yes. Well, we want you to be emotional about the like and the dislike about the house, but that's why your real estate agent is gonna be your mentor of making sure you're not too emotional about finances.
Correct.
Our number 4 is don't wait on rates. Everyone who's in the market of buying a home, this has probably been on your mind for the last 6 months or 12 months. I'm not buying till the interest rate drops to 5%. I'm not buying when the interest rate is 8%. And I get that, right? But going back to what is the most important thing to you, buying a home is not about a rate commitment. What I want to tell you guys is even that you're going to be signing up for a 30-year fixed rate doesn't mean you need to have the rate for 30 years. The mortgage lenders, the mortgage companies, they want to find different ways to help homeowners to get in the home. So when we're in a high rate environment, you'll hear a lot of creative ways and creative options. And I would say if you don't explore some of the creative options and thinking that the standard rate is 7%, 7.5%, that is not what everyone else is doing. That's not what your friends do, okay? Your friends are talking to their lender and your friends are trying to get really creative of not paying that 7 or 8% and still get into the home.
Correct.
So if you guys are interested in learning more about how to get lower interest rate for the first 2 or 3 years that can help you to comfortably get into the home and do exactly what your friends have figured out, let us know.
Also, with why not wait? Because you want to go ahead. Home ownership is a wealth of
Building.
And so you want that creation of building equity. And so if you do it now, think in 2 years, how much equity. Right now, if you're renting, you are not developing any wealth. You are actually developing wealth for your landlords.
Yeah.
So think of it that way. And a lot of times, back in more of the days, we saw a lot of people do the stair step. So maybe you aren't buying the dream home right now. Maybe it is a little bit lesser. But in 2 years, 3 years, you've developed equity. Now you can pull that money out and buy your next bigger house.
Yeah.
And use it as a stair stepper. Or maybe you keep that first house and it becomes your investment. So buying now, not waiting, and developing your wealth right now.
And I saw something I think is really important to point out to the viewers is if you just Google like 2025, you don't have to listen to me. Google 2025 housing equity forecast. You will see there's a lot of major news channels and website and with professional market forecasters. Anyone have forecast a home value continue to go up anywhere between 3.5% to 7.5%. So basically the same house is going to be more expensive. There's no question about it. So you can wait till you have the 5% interest rate and pay a higher purchase price, or you can find a creative way to have a lower interest rate for the 2 or 3 years and then buy in a market when maybe you can even score some deals right now.
Yeah, definitely. We'd love to hear from you. Put your questions below and we'll get those answers to you. If you have and any need for assistance, we'd love to help you. So put that information down there. We'll give you a contact back, and we wish you all the best in 2025.
Thank you for joining us.